First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Well, we need to start off with some sad news with our law enforcement family.
We do. We lost our brother in arms this week, and that is Border Patrol Agent Freddie Ortiz. Died in the line of duty, responding to a call several days ago, and during an accident driving his UTV. But again, he died protecting our country, and I just want to give him a shout out, his family a shout out, our Border Patrol partners and family out there, and all law enforcement in Cochise County, and rest in peace. I mean, it's just hard time on the border right now. I'll just say that.
Well, let's kick things off with the Cochise County football. And how did the Buena Colts do?
They did. They made the first round of playoffs. They took on the number 2 team in the state, and Desert Edge. And of course, they lost. I'm not saying that of course, that we all expect that. But they made it. They made it to the dance. And so kudos to them. They got back into that playoff hunt, which is most important. Now you build from there. And talking to Coach Thomas, I went over, we did the escort for Buena leaving town as they headed up to Phoenix to play in a playoff game last Friday. And I mean, that's a huge step. That's a big hallmark moment for Buena football. And Coach Thomas continues. And I this is an easy prediction, I think. Over the next 2 years, that's a very young coach team. Over the next 2 years, you're going to see a lot of promise come out of that team. So congratulations to Coach Thomas, his coaching staff, and all the football players and the fans and the parents. I mean, it was a good year to embrace. And so, again, we look forward to next year and cheering them on again next year.
And here we go again with Bahrain Academy. So that's going to be today at 10 o'clock.
Bahrain, yes. Who are these athletes? Because you always hear the Bisbee, Wilcox, Buena, all the Tippy Douglas. Now we're talking about Bahrain. Bahrain's this high school over there behind Cochise College. They're on Colombo, where they're not part of the AIA. AIA is the Arizona Interscholastic Association that oversees sports. They're one of the non-AIA teams, and there's a bunch of them in the state. A lot of your private charter schools are involved in that, but Bahrain's is in that league, so they're 10-0. They're ranked number 1 in that little division there. I say little because it's a very small division, but they're taking on in the state championship today. They're taking on the number 2 team, Phoenix Western SciTech, which is 7-1. So Bahrain's got a very good chance of bringing home a state championship here in Cochise County. So I wish him well, Coach Hampton and his team over there. And they play at the new Hampton Field, which is that one there off Martin Luther King. That's that new field they just built, the city just built. And actually that's named after his dad, Keith Hampton, who was iconic when it comes to coaching many, many kids and giving them an opportunity to first experience sports and the competition life of working with others in teams and stuff like that. So, Jay, your coaches and football players over there, we wish you well today. We're going to give them an escort at 10 o'clock today.
10 o'clock.
From their high school over there, like I said, on Colombo behind Cochise College. You want to come out and cheer them on at 10 o'clock. They'll be pulling out with their bus. And like I said, the Sheriff's Office, Service to Police Department, we're going to get them out of town and wish them the best of luck.
And yesterday, you helped kick off the Red Kettle campaign with the Salvation Army.
I did. I had the opportunity to, with Captains Heather and Ty Bays and all the community leaders, Mayor McCall. I mean, yeah, I got the little bell. I like that. I brought that in this morning just for that. And to kick off the kettle. And that's a couple thoughts I want to really share with that. And what I spoke about yesterday was what a special community and giving community that we all live in. But number 2 was, let's not forget our public safety responders during the holidays. I mean, let's keep them in our minds, keep them in our prayers, and let's embrace them like we always do, but a special one this year as we push through the holidays here. And then, but also all the change, the dollar bills, all the stuff we collect when we ring the bell and the others ring the bell stays 100% here in Cochise County. And something that a lot of people don't maybe realize is that alcohol, drug addiction, they have a program here. Free of charge. You go there. It's actually in Tucson, but they route you through here, Sierra Vista Salvation Army. But again, it's another way of giving back to the community. They do so many things. They had some testimonials yesterday and stories of people that have actually benefit from the Salvation Army, and those that give in a quarter, a nickel, every penny counts. And so, again, it was an opportunity and honor to be there yesterday and do this.
And also on our Facebook page at the Sheriff's Office, we've got a link where you can share. If you're not going to drop kettle money in and you're not going to be out and about, you can still donate online, and that money also stays right here in our community, and that is on the Sheriff's Facebook page.
And we'll be ringing the bell on Black Friday. Day after Thanksgiving, the Sheriff's Office will be at Walmart from 8 in the morning till 6. We'll be manning the doors and the kettles. So come on out there and just say hi to us and bring your dollars.
And it looks like we're going to be guarding the doors, but seriously, we're not. Just come and say hi.
Unless you are committing a crime, then we do become.
And that's happened before.
It has. I got to tell the story. We had a gentleman several years ago that actually did some shoplifting. Now, how he didn't know we were out there is just another story in itself. But he shoplifted, ran out, saw us, ran back inside. So he became the trap mouse that we captured later. So either way, it's not a good day to do shoplifting at Walmart.
And so as far as the Salvation Army goes as well, they have Recovery Over Addiction. It's an outreach program, and we had our new Community Assist Response Emergency Team, so our CARE team from the Sheriff's Office. And that's the group that was put together through grant funding from the Legacy Foundation. Thank you so much for that. And it helps with mental health issues.
It does. And this is, again, these are first responders to deal with those in need. And this team's all about helping public safety, first of all, citizens. But last not least is somebody's in need before it becomes a crisis or becomes a critical public safety response, like a shooting scenario, which we see, they get involved early. And so we're trying everything we can to address those kind of needs. And they're very limited in rural America, so we're very blessed to have that. And thanks to the Legacy Foundation to really push that forward in partnership with the Sheriff's Office and trust us to be able to do this. And so, again, I'm proud of that team.
And they also are helping create new programs and options for people like CCOM. You know, they have a lot of heavy, hard calls coming into CCOM. And if you're the person on the other end of that line and someone is hurting themselves or worse, and you have to deal with that impact, you can't see it. It's something that you get third hand, so you're not right on the scene, and you can't really decompress much for that. So this CARE team is helping with that as well.
They truly are. And I know I've heard the feedback. It's very positive. It's very comforting. And in today's world, we're seeing so much ugly and so much devastation. It's nice to have a team out there that's right next to us.
And last Saturday, the Sheriff's Assist team had their only fundraiser they do every year, and they did well. Yes,
and thanks to Pam and the Landmark Cafe folks down there, they host it with us. But the Sheriff's Assist team had their annual pancake breakfast, and that's their little fundraiser. I think they made over $1,000 or something.
I think it's over $1,400.
$1,400. So thank you to all those that came out and supported our volunteers, the SAT team that does so much in the community. And so again, and thanks to SAT for what they do every day. And one of the big things they do, I think there are over 300 now, funeral escorts for our veterans that they take them to their final rest. So thank you to SAT for doing that honorable task.
And they also provide a service in fingerprinting in our Sierra Vista office. And make sure you visit our webpage because the hours and the prices are posted there. But people sometimes get confusing messages from depending on whoever they speak to. But that is the honest-to-goodness truth. So go to our webpage. You'll see how much it costs, $5 cash. They don't have a mechanism to make change. And if you need your fingerprints, if you're a teacher, if you have any other reason to have a fingerprint for employment, please go see our SAT people on check out the hours and the days on our webpage, and it's at our Sierra Vista office. You can also go to our Bisbee jail, and again, the hours and the cost are posted there. It's $5 cash without any other change, no credit cards, no checks. Has to be cash.
Yeah, and if you're an educator working in the educational field, we don't charge. We don't charge that. That's my contribution to our educators that do an amazing job of helping our young. So again, if you're an educator, we'll fingerprint you, no charge.
As we move into some border talk, we had some people come from the East Coast, the Major City Chiefs. First of all, tell us what that is and why they were here.
The Major City Chiefs are chiefs from urban communities like your Chicago's, New York, Oklahoma City, for example, Salt Lake City, Utah. But we had the opportunity, and we've been working with our IACP, International Association of Chief of Police. We had the opportunity to work with them over the last 2 years, along with the 4 major associations for sheriffs, to start working together. Because if we don't start working together and start bringing our intel together, our tactics together, and just our common challenges and figuring out how we do it better collectively and complementary, we're going to be in trouble. So that's what this was. This was another follow-up to that. That first meeting ever that we've ever had a meeting of this nature happened in Sierra Vista. We hosted it 2 years ago, and it's been growing ever since. So I'm very impressed with that, Grady, that we're able to bring these tactics together because we all face a little bit different, but the fentanyl is poison in every community. The gangs are out there. The border impact is addressing all of us. On and on. I mean, you look at this week alone, just this week alone, we seized, along with our federal partners, working collectively, over 500,000 fentanyl pills this week. I mean, that's incredible. That was interdicted here in Cochise County that would be in schools and families and communities somewhere in the United States if we wouldn't have done that. Now, that's probably people saying, well, there's a whole bunch more coming. You're exactly right, there is. But every bit counts. If I can keep a pill out of a kid's hand, I'm doing well. We're doing well, and we're going to continue pushing that. But this is what that's all about, is having these police chiefs and influential leaders from all the associations working together for the good of all the people, not just Cochise County.
And I had 3 of them in a vehicle I took down to the border for part of the tour, and they all said, each one of them separately, that what the media is showing is not what I'm seeing right now.
I'm very disappointed in the media. I'm just very disappointed, as I said on the media microphone today. But I'm very disappointed because there's always that slant or that avoidance. And I'm just going to say this. And you look at Agent Ortiz, our fallen agent, that just perished this week. Very little news on that. Social media grabbed it, of course. That seems to be the driving force, and that's not always the best driving force. But bottom line is this: that should be headlines. That's a community hero. Truly, and I know most people, if you ask them, they could tell you that we're not heroes, but they are heroes. They served our country, they served our communities, but again, the media doesn't want to talk about that. But if you had a cop that got in trouble, that would be a headline. That would be all over the state. Cop gets in trouble. We got to switch that back. We really got to regroup in how we're doing business in this country.
And talking about the border, we also have another group coming in. They got in here yesterday, and there's 10 of them, and they're sheriffs from Ohio, district attorneys, state auditors, and so we're going to go ahead and give them the Borders to Backyard tour as well.
Right, and some of them we've been working very close with. Some of these sheriffs I know very well through national sheriffs, and we're doing some good things with Ohio. Ohio's a very good partner with Cochise County, and so we'll continue. They're down here. We're going to talk some tactics while they're here. I talked to them all last night. Long day yesterday, but spent some time with them last night, and I'm very excited because the more we can learn from each other, whether it be working with Florida sheriffs and troopers, Ohio, Northern California, Texas, the better off we're going to be. And I'm telling you, I'm so impressed with where we're moving. Had an individual tell me, well, you guys, you're not working enough on the tactics, the in-game. Listen, there's not a sheriff's office, and I'm being at all mean with this, that's working as hard as we are. We're working so hard to outreach, to bring solutions and in-game results to the people here, and we're going to continue doing that.
And the reason that you guys were able to talk more in depth last night was because they had a meeting in Sunsites at the community center.
They did. They had a meet and greet with community leaders last night in Sunsites. It's always a great place to go. It was well attended again last night. The people are always very embracing. A lot of good conversations, both on individual issues some of the people had, all the way up to the big talk was the border, because 191, which is the highway that goes through Sunsites, is a freeway for pursuits. They recognize it, but one thing I did not hear was, Sheriff, this ain't working. What I did hear was thank you for the efforts, and number 2, thank you for trying to keep us safe. And that's all we can do, and we're going to continue pushing that, those efforts and those tactics forward. But it was a very good event last night. I always enjoy going over there. Their annual meeting will be in February, and I'll be back over there in February.
And one of the things that you often bring up to these people that come to visit is the juveniles that we're seeing, and we had a couple of 16-year-olds this week.
Once again, and this is the most heartbreaking part of our border, besides when you see tragedy of death, is the fact when you see young people that have been recruited through social media, which nobody's holding them accountable. I mean, I'm just going to get this off because I got to say it. Is the fact that we've brought this up. I've testified on it. Congress, we brought it up all the way through with our attorney generals, governors, past and present. And as we said today, there's recruitment through social media saying, go to Cochise County, go to the border, and smuggle, and we'll pay you. And who's the best friend of social media? Young people. And guess what they're getting that from? So, yeah, we had two 16-year-olds, non-licensed 16-year-olds down here committing crimes, and we do. They're held accountable. I know there's this myth out there, well, they're juvenile, nothing's going to happen to them. Let me just say that's a false narrative. It's truly a false narrative. The federal government, they don't touch juveniles. It depends. They can. It depends on the circumstances. It's got to be pretty aggravated for them to do something, but we do. We don't just release them and say, okay, don't come here again. No, there is consequences, and we push that through on anything that we can attach that to, because if we don't have consequences, the people are right. Not they'll do it again, but we push consequences.
And the parents had to come pick them up from Phoenix, had to come get their kids. And so people are concerned that we just released them to the parents. That we did release them to the parents, but they still have those charges of human smuggling. And that's a Class 2 felony.
It's a Class 2 felony. And second of all, we even look at the parents. So we inquire to the parents, their guardians, where's your child? What's your child doing? Do you have any knowledge of it? And if we can charge the parents, we will too. So don't think they're getting away with this. We look at their guardians, because if you know your child's not home at 1 in the morning and he's somewhere and you have done nothing to fix that, we'll find a way to charge you. It's ridiculous.
And you've been keeping busy with other things going throughout the county, and then you attended a ceremony for the Veterans Wall in Sierra Vista on the 9th.
We did. They inducted a whole new group of Veteran Wall honorees. Jackie Clay, our county superintendent, was one of them, and Commander, or now Assistant Chief, Butch Boutte was another one that I just want to make a highlight. So many good people that were there and that were inducted. And I want to give one too. Doug Jacques. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Is that Jacques? Jacques. And he works with the communication folks. These are all people that have served in the military, and now, but he have retired and working really hard in the community. And he does a lot for our communications as a volunteer, working with the sheriff's office. So I want to give him a shout out, and the mayor's, Clea McCall's wife, Ramona, the first lady of Sierra Vista, Ramona McCall, was actually inducted into the Veterans Hall. So again, to all the recipients, congratulations to them. It was a very nice ceremony. And then I had to leave early for the Chuka City Council, because we're doing some oversight down there too.
Well, did you want to talk about that at all at this point?
Sure. And their chief has stepped down, so the city manager got a hold of me, and now we're providing leadership oversight. And we already do a lot with Huachuca City. There's no money exchanged. This is our ability to absorb their officers, their 5 officers, into our training, into our leadership, our culture, all that, to help that. And in return, that's 5 officers now help me as an extra responder in that side of our region over there in the Whetstone and the Chuka City, outside the proper with Chuka City. So again, it's a win-win. We're all in this together. This should not be a jurisdiction, well, you're bad, you're only city, your county, well, your state, your federal. It doesn't matter. When somebody's house is getting broken into at 2 in the morning, do you really care what badge comes in and neutralizes it? I hope not. I really do. So the more that we can regionalize, the more that we can work together, the safer this community will be.
And we even go back into the day. Back in the day, kind of a tidbit is our current chief, Tom Alinen, was an acting chief at Huachuca City many, many years ago.
He was. In fact, he's been an acting chief there at Tombstone, and I think that's one other place too he did since. And then the retired police chief from Sierra Vista. He retired after 38 years of service there. So Tom's been around a long time. Big shout out for Tom Alinen. In fact, he's the longest serving law enforcement in Cochise County right now. So I think he's got 49 years or something like that. And he's still in his 30s. It's really weird, but yeah.
It's amazing how that works.
It does, yes. It's what they call stop counting.
Well, let's talk about the oath of office. It's something that's very important to you. Every employee has to go through it. You had one of those services, but before we get to that, tell us why that's so important to you.
It's the oath of office sets the first stage of expectations, and that is you'll follow the rule of law, the Constitution, both state and federal, and it sets that standards of a role model. And when I took over 12 years ago, that's the first thing we did. All the sworn, all the support staff, all my officers in the jail, and all my volunteers take it. So we also redid our whole practice when it comes to federal agents. Sheriffs have the authority to swear in federal agents to work specific tasks, defined tasks. Well, on these tasks like the predators, the creepy people that go after kids, So we have those sworn in. So they work side by side with my deputies, service to PD, and others when it comes to addressing predators. So that's the reason. That would then get state warrants. That way they can work side by side working with the county attorney's office. Otherwise, it's very difficult. And it should never be difficult when we're chasing a predator. I'm just going to say that. So we get to swear them in there today. We go through it's really an honorable service to do that, both for them and I, because, again, it goes back to a force multiplier of how we do things better here in Cochise County.
And you also have an event that you're going to go to tomorrow night called GAP. So it's going to be the Grumbacher Assistance Program.
Yeah, and that's through the United Way, named after a former general here on Fort Huachuca. I'm a guest of Mayor Cleveland McCall and his wife Ramona to go up there, and they're going to do a ride with the sheriff. So we're going to do that while I'm up there. But I'm just looking forward because United Way, again, no uncommon name in the nonprofit world, does so much for communities in this country. So that the funds raised go back to help Cochise County and through the United Way. So again, exciting night. Nikki and I will be up there tomorrow night.
And there's a lot of different programs and projects going on consistently throughout the sheriff's office and outreach. And just want to say that this one just caught me off guard, but I'm really happy to hear about it. And it relates to the jail. So when we have inmates, in Bisbee, we're off the beaten path. So when inmates are released, their options are to come to the administration building to try to use a phone, try to get a ride, or to make that long walk of, I don't want to say walk of shame, but that long walk regardless of the weather. And so Commander Bradshaw has come up with a solution, and that is a bus stop.
It is. And we had some concerns from the neighbors there at the sheriff's office in Bisbee, where our jail's at. When we release them, they walk through that neighborhood. So there was a concern. So we worked with the city council and mayor of Bisbee, and they've agreed to put a bus stop there. And actually, I believe it's Legacy or one of the groups actually is paying for bus tickets for them, so they can get back to their destinations and stuff. So yeah, the bus will pick them up right there in front of the sheriff's office. They're going to install the bus place, whatever they call that. So they'll wait there.
Bus shack.
The bus shack, or whatever it's called. They're going to wait right there. So again, it's just another way of taking care of those. I mean, and I agree with you, because you see them walking out. It's a state highway. There's no walking paths. It's just not a safe thing to do. So this is just another way of the humanitarian side, call it that.
Well, scams are always a problem, and right now they'll use like deputy names, but I understand that there's one that's using actual Sheriff Mark Daniels.
Yeah, I got a call yesterday where they called a female saying, Sheriff Mark Daniels, and you got court papers, warrants, and it just fluffs somebody's feathers, and you can imagine. I mean, and they're innovative, they're creative, anything to get money out of you. And Carol, you mentioned earlier that somebody lost quite a bit of money on one of these scams. Let me just say before I yield there, we don't call until you got a warrant. We don't call until you got a failure to appear, any of that kind of stuff. We'll either knock on your door, and you know it's us, because we have to identify ourselves, but we don't call you. So if you get a call like that, get a hold of your local law enforcement, get a hold of the sheriff's office, and let us run that down. But I guarantee you're probably dealing with a scam.
And don't call the number that they give you to call.
No, because those are all scam numbers too. It's amazing. Even when they use local numbers like it's real. So don't fall into that either. They baited that hook pretty well.
And so it is a problem that we have, and people are very creative. These criminals will do that. And then, a lot of comments when we put out the information alerts there are, how could people be so ignorant? Well, that's not the point. The point
Right.
is there's a lot of different ways to look at that. And until you are in that situation and you have that propensity, and let's just say very, very young people who maybe are not well versed in the way that the world is working right now, or elderly people. And so a recent call was an elderly woman. Her daughter contacted us to report that she did have something very similar. The woman was meeting with somebody. She went to Facebook. Somehow it happened, and she lost $16,000. $16,000. That's not, a meal here and there. That's somebody's life savings. So we really need to make sure that people understand that it's not because you're stupid that you fall for these. It's just that the other guy is really that good.
They are. They're very good. And just don't, again, if you're getting these phone calls, I had one call me the other day about this, and that he won a car, and they're coming to Cochise County to drop off the car. And I said, did you put in for anything? No. I said, do not give money, don't give information. And they actually called. They said they're going to deliver the car that Monday. Monday they call them, hey, we're up at Gallup, New Mexico at a law enforcement checkpoint. Can you send us $300? We didn't have this kind of permit to come in. Can you send this to us so we can get that card to you? Again, they'll do anything they can. Well, Gallup, New Mexico doesn't have a law enforcement port of entry or anything like that. So there's always that trip. But please call us like he did. He was a vet. He called us. And that's so sad about somebody lost $16,000, an elderly. And we just did, kudos to Commander Bob Watkins this week. He just addressed a bunch of the senior citizens that requested this meeting on scams. So we spent some time with them this week, another outreach that we did this week. But again, we'll continue to do that because these scams are really tough because a lot of times they're not even in the country. They're not even in the country, but that money's wired out quickly, and once it's gone, it's hard to get it back.
And I have an example that when you say people are falling for these, how can they be so dumb? They're sending this out to 10,000 people or more, and they're looking for that 1%. Because if it makes sense to you, then that's when you fall for it. I have an example that I can give you. When my wife took over her business, her dad had died, and so she was now running it, and they got a call saying SSVEC is coming over to turn off your electric right now unless you pay us. And that made sense to her because she's like, oh, my dad just died. He probably didn't pay the bill. So see, she doesn't fall for scams, but that made sense to her. So that's what makes it a little easy. So that's what they're looking for, is something that makes sense to 1%. So you're not dumb if you fall for these. It's just that the circumstances were there for you.
Well stated. Yeah, I would agree on that.
And so what we're doing in order to address some of these issues is, we put it out on our social media. We try to get information out there. This is the latest scam. Please don't be a victim. So Commander Watkins did the outreach on that as far as addressing people. So we're working on something to come in the next few weeks, the first couple weeks of December, and partnering with another group that this is what they do. They go around the country and they talk about scams, the different scams. And the person that we're anticipating partnering with, he's very well versed in what we can do and how to report these things, not only to law enforcement, but to the government. And hopefully they can track this down. So get ready for that, because we're looking for a huge community meeting to address that and have you address the people in our communities and have that widespread through, sharing through Facebook or however we need to get the information out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, and that's something that we deal with weekly. So look forward to that, doing that and getting that information out. And if we say one person, like you said, that small percent at 1%, we've done something well.
Do you have a stop of the week?
I do. I truly do. And this week I come in, and this is the law. So when you come into, you're pulling off a road, you got to stay in the lane, the immediate lane you're in. You can't bump the lane next. So if you turn left, you got to go to the immediate lane in the left. And you can't go all the way to the right. Well, yesterday I was pulling out into Highway 92, 4-lane highway, into the immediate lane, the inside lane. And the car behind me was also behind me, but he immediately went to the far lane. So when I went to turn my turn signal to go right, which is the legal process, he almost hit me. And then he put his hand out the window like I bothered him. Like, how dare I get in front of him? Well, I drive an unmarked car, but you can tell there's something to do with law enforcement. So I stopped him, the aggravation with his body language and his hand in the air. So I stopped him. Fictitious plates, which means the plate was not legally on the car. No insurance. He's under DUI restriction for not having interlock in his vehicle. And I'm trying to think what else there was there. But either way, and he had such a bad attitude. And I finally told him, enough. He goes, I'm having a bad morning. It's going to get worse. Long story short is we end up towing the vehicle for 20 days, which is a shall law, which means there's no discretion on my part. He received quite a few tickets as a result of that. Could have gone to jail, which I did not take him to jail, that's all he did. He did thank me for that, not taking him to jail. But the bottom line is, folks, and I stopped a guy last night at 9 o'clock last night. He had no headlights on the vehicle at 9 o'clock at night. Started to rain, but he's driving with like the old fog lights as headlights. Folks, I'll just add this little safety tip for you. Headlights have to have a low beam and a high beam. You can't just put a fog light in there and say, or a driving light and say, that's all I need. No, you have to have headlights on from sunset to sunrise. And once that sun goes down, you got to have your headlights on, which is not, since it's getting darker early, I had to stop on that this week too. Turn your headlights on. The darker your vehicle, the harder it is to see you. So again, slow down. Make sure your equipment's working properly. And if you do get stopped by law enforcement, throwing an attitude is not going to cause you it's going to cause you some issues. Trust me.
Well, next week is Thanksgiving weekend and Black Friday, and there is no show. We're not going to be on the radio next week, but we'll be back December 1st. But what's your Thanksgiving message?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for all their support. And I want to start with Town Square Media for football, Jeff Davenport, Val here at the studio, you, Grady, for making that happen for us every year, because that gives us an opportunity to showcase our student athletes, our high schools around the county. I want to thank SSVEC for putting this show on and all the support they give, not just for the show, but for the community. Thank both of you, Carol, you and Grady both. You guys do an amazing job for the Sheriff's Office, the community. Thank you both. And Carol, you've done this for like 4 decades like me, and even though we're still 32. But thank you both for all you do. And I want to thank all the men and women at the Sheriff's Office. I mean, they make my job so much easier. And working and all our veterans out there, we did the Veterans Parade this week. I know we didn't talk about that, but again, it's such an honor to do that parade as we kick off. But I wish all the families in Cochise County, thank you for all the support you give us. We're blessed.
And thank you, Sheriff, for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so come see us at the bell ringing. That's going to be next Friday from 8 to 6.
All right. Yep. Kicking off Black Friday with the Sheriff's Office.
There we go. Everybody have a great weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have the fire department talking about stocking stuffers.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County. And I'm so proud to present Jody Klein from the San Pedro Kiwanis Club. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Well, let's start off with the Kiwanis Club. What do the Kiwanis do?
San Pedro Kiwanis does all kinds of projects to support the children in the greater Sierra Vista community. And just for example, we do leadership programs in the various schools. We pack beads for kids and mail them out for kids who are sick all over the country for procedures they've gone through. We give scholarships to kids. We do participate in project graduation. Any project that benefits children in the community, that's our mission.
And so that's a whole lot of stuff that maybe people don't understand that happens here behind the scenes. And there's so much outreach that you guys do. So I think that that's really important. And one of the major ones that people have heard of is the Stocking Stuffer program.
Right. Yes, our Stocking Stuffer program is our signature program. And for the last 35 years, we have been providing new clothes to children in the greater Sierra Vista community for, like I said, over 35 years. This year we have over 600 children to provide clothing for, and so if you add all of that up, it's 25,000 kids over that period of time, and that's not used clothing, it's new clothing, about $100 worth of clothes for each child. And I could talk about how the project works and how we get the names of those kids.
Yep, that's what we need to know next.
Yep. We contact the school nurses in all of the public schools in Sierra Vista, Huachuca City, Palominas, and Tombstone, and the nurses identify children that they believe are in need of clothing from their observations from the teachers and that, and they send forms home to the parents, and the parents then fill out the forms not only for that child but for every child in the household, and then they send the form back to the school. Then we get those forms, and we then have the names of the kids, their gender, their sizes, and all of that, and we go to work at that point in time. And what we do is we then shop for 2 pair of pants, 2 shirts, a pair of shoes, a package of socks, and a package of underwear for each child on that list. And so you can imagine having all of those sizes and trying to coordinate that and make sure that everything is accurate. And we do that through either people donating money or becoming sponsors in the program. And the way sponsorship works is that if somebody says, oh, for Christmas, let's, rather than just giving a dollar donation, I'd like to get the name and sizes of a child, and then I'll go out and shop with my own money and bring those packages back to us, either wrapped and unwrapped. And then we have a couple of wrapping days where we wrap hundreds and hundreds of packages of clothing, and then we put it all together and we deliver it. This year it will be on Saturday, December 23rd, a couple days before Christmas, and we deliver it to the parents' home. Parents or custodian or guardian or whomever, we deliver it to the home, and then the parents can give those clothes to the children because it all remains anonymous. So the clothes can be from Santa or the parent or whomever the parent chooses. And so that's in a nutshell how people get in the program. And if we receive donations, then we have Kiwanian shoppers who go out and they'll shop for 10 kids at a time. God bless them, because not something I would want to do, but we have people that do that as well. So there's a lot of people involved. So to say that it is a San Pedro Kiwanis project, that's true, but it's really a community project, because we have people throughout the community that have been supporting us for years and years.
And this is where the community can now step in, because if you want to sponsor a child or donate money or help them wrap, how can they get involved?
Okay, I think the simplest way right now is to either call me, Jody Klein, at 520-459-5897, or email me at joloklein@msn.com, and I will get back to them. If they want to donate money, they can do so by mailing a check to Just Kids Inc. and send it to Stocking Stuffers at P.O. Box 2062, Sierra Vista, Arizona 85636. So if you are interested in donating money, then send it to that address.
All right. Well, it's a great program that you do every year, and we really appreciate what the Kiwanis do for us. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And that phone number one more time is 520-459-5897.
Right. And I want to give a shout out to Sheriff Daniels. I don't know how he does the hardest job in Cochise County, but he's heavily involved in this as well as a ton of other community projects. So anyway, I wanted to throw that aside in.
Yeah, he loves supporting children's programs. He does, yes. Yeah. And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Miss Melanie from the Sierra Vista Chamber.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest.
Welcome back, Cochise County, and thank you so much, Melanie. You're the CEO of the Sierra Vista Chamber of Commerce, correct?
Correct.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, I love being here.
So tell us a little bit about what the Chamber is doing for the holiday season.
Oh, well, it's the typical. It's the usual. Every year we have our community events, and we love to celebrate the holidays. So the first one we have coming up is our 64th annual parade, and that is the longest running Christmas parade in Arizona. So we're so excited to bring the 64th year. Excuse me. And so that is going to be December 2nd. And it starts at 5:30, same route that we had the last 2 years, so kind of around Veterans Park. So we're excited to bring you that. The theme this year is Christmas Around the World. It is a lighted parade, so it is in the evening, but it's going to be a lot of fun. But registration is still open right now for that. You cannot be in the parade unless you're registered for the parade, insurance, all those things. And so registration will be open on our website at svachamber.com until November 22nd. So after that, we have to close registration so that we can get everybody in order and lined up, and we have our safety briefings that we give to all of our entries. And so November 22nd is the last day to register to be in the parade.
Okay, so that's this coming Wednesday.
Yes,
it
is.
So everybody knows that's this Wednesday. Give us that website one more time to register for the parade before Wednesday.
SV, as in Victor, svachamber.com.
All right, and then the next event you have coming in is Santa Claus Loves Sierra Vista, and he's going to visit us.
Yes, he is. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be flying in an air evac helicopter and landing in the Cow Ranch parking lot right around 10 a.m. on December 9th. So because he's coming from the North Pole, it's a ride. So it will be give or take somewhere around 10 a.m. is when Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus land in the Cow Ranch parking lot. This is a free event, another free event for our community members to come out. We also have the fire department out there, but Santa and Mrs. Claus will go inside, and they'll be inside, and they will be there until they see all the kids that are in line to visit with them. And then Santa's got to leave after that and head back to the North Pole because he's busy right now.
And then the third event that you have every year is Light Up Sierra Vista. What is that?
So Light Up Sierra Vista we created during the pandemic because we couldn't do the parade. And this is where homes and businesses decorate for the holidays with lots of lights. And they actually can register on our website. And that address for their home or their business goes on a map that is a Google map that you can get on our app. Or it's also in the Herald Review. So it's printed in the paper. And so our homes and our businesses agree to have their Christmas lights on, their holiday lights, from the 9th of December through the 25th every night. And this way, if you want to run by and check out some really cool Christmas lights on your way home from work one night, on the weekends, any night, you can go by and you can look at the map and you can go and check out different neighborhoods, and our community members get to vote on their favorites. So for homes, it's free, but you do have to register on our website. For businesses, it is $75 for chamber members and $100 for non-chamber members. But it's excellent marketing because you have citizens from all over southern Arizona that come by and check out your cool lights and vote on who they like the best. So that's a lot of fun, but registration closes November 29th for that.
And is there like prizes for the best houses and businesses?
So we do have signs that we have made that they can put in front of their home or their business if they win. So we take those out, and of course, we have a chamber award too, so we get to run around and we get to check out all the beautiful lights as well and vote on our favorites. So there's multiple awards. So we love it. We have so many people that in our community that think that this is just the best event ever. And so if you love to decorate your house, please jump on and get registered for this. It is just so much fun.
And remind us of the deadline and website one more time.
So the deadline to register for Light Up Sierra Vista is November 29th, and you can do that as well on our website at svachamber.com.
All right, now I'm going to put you through the test, and all three of those events, give us the dates and times and invite everybody out one more time before you go.
The parade will happen on December 2nd, starting at 5:30. Streets close down at 5 o'clock, so you want to be there early. And so the deadline to register for that is November 22nd. And then we have our Santa Fly-In, and that happens on December 9th around 10 a.m. at the Cow Ranch parking lot. And Light Up Sierra Vista will happen from December 9th through the 25th. Deadline to register for that is November 29th.
All right, give us your website to register with all of that.
svachamber.com.
Well, Melanie, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you very much.
And Carol, how do they get a hold of us at the Sheriff's Office?
Reach out if you have a question, 520-432-9500. Check out our webpage at cochise.az.gov/sheriff, or look at our social media, starting with our Facebook page at Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Mark J. Daniels.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch with the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
Join us again next Friday morning, 7 to 8 a.m.
First Watch.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Only on 92.3 KWCD.